So pretty much every year around the trade deadline, the rumors start going crazy. But just because there are rumors doesn't mean there's a whole lot of substance to it. I mean, in 2018, there was rumors the Cavs wanted DeAndre Jordan or Kemba Walker, and in 2019, there were rumors of Marc Gasol going to Charlotte, or Los Angeles acquiring Jabari Parker. My point is, rumors fly every single year about any and everybody around the trade deadline. So today we aren't talking about guys like Bradley Beal or some other star player who probably won't be traded. But instead, I've got 5, but actually more, guys that I think can be realistically obtained by some teams who could use them. So first off, we'll start off with an easy one, and that's Evan Fournier. The Orlando Magic are honestly in a really bad spot for the rest of the season. They've been ravaged by injuries, with Jonathan Isaac going out in August, Markelle Fultz going out in January, both for the season, by the way. Aaron Gordon will be out 4 to 6 weeks as of February 1st, and Cole Anthony will be out until at least the All-Star break as of February 16th. So yeah, they've signed guys like Frank Mason to fill the void at point guard. So obviously these guys are in trouble. So it almost makes sense to just go ahead and sell on some of the guys you have and focus on building up a competitive team around Vucevic and the young guys for next season. Fournier is also on an expiring contract, and they've got a lot of salaries committed. So maybe they let him go and draft a guy like Jalen Green in the upcoming draft to fill that void. Terrence Ross could fill in as the 2 guard until they find a more long-term solution at the position too. I mean, several teams could use Fournier, who on a good team could be a really good 3rd or 4th option and could give you like 15, maybe 17 or 18 points on pretty decent efficiency. Teams like the Celtics, maybe the Sixers if they want to sacrifice some defense, and possibly even a team like the Mavericks. Next up is someone who's not quite been buried in the rotation, but is definitely losing some minutes. Devontae Graham lost his starting job to LaMelo Ball, as he should have, to be fair, but I think that opens him up to being traded. The only problem is he's expiring and on a very, very low salary. So the trades are limited, but he could be a very good backup point guard for a lot of teams, especially those who might need some offensive punch off the bench. He's also a pretty decent playmaker, just all around someone you'd be happy your team has as a backup. Granted, he hasn't been great this year, but still. I can already think of several teams. The Celtics, who will probably make a lot of appearances in this video. Then there's the Hawks, who desperately need any type of pulse when Trey is on the bench. Maybe Orlando even throws their name in the hat. Not a whole lot to say about him. He's just a good offensive point guard who can give you some punch off the bench, and I doubt the asking price is going to be super high. Third on my list, that's in no particular order, is Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon is a guy who won the 6th Man of the Year award a few years back and fell off pretty hard since then. That is until this year, where he's having sort of a resurgence. He went from 14 points on 37, 31, 76 splits, which is 51% true shooting, by the way, to almost 19 points on 46, 35, 84 splits, which is 61% true shooting. I mean, we all know what Eric Gordon is. He's a solid scorer who can be a big part of your offense, whether he's running with the bench or the starters. He also provides some solid defense as well. Just all around a great guy to have on your bench. And he's also under contract until 2024, which could be a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it, because he's currently 32 years old and will be making $20 million in 2024, where he'll be 36 or 37. But despite that fact, if you're a contender who can manage to get him, I really think you should, despite his age and possible injury concerns. So obviously, I'll mention the Celtics again. Portland can use him because they could use any semblance of defense on that roster. I imagine Derrick Jones Jr. plus Zach Collins and maybe a couple of second-round picks could get the deal done, unless the Rockets would rather have a first-round pick from the Celtics plus salary relief, because it's a pretty sizable salary, to be honest. Then for the last 2, I'm kind of cheating because it's not just one player for the last 2. For this next one particular, it's the Thunder's old guys. George Hill, Al Horford, and Trevor Ariza. I am personally of the opinion that Ariza is pretty much done in his career. He's not really that great of a defender anymore, and he's a decent catch and shoot 3-point guy. So for a team that just needs an okay wing, he could be fine. As for George Hill, he's a rock solid point guard to have off the bench. I would definitely not be mad if my Hawks traded Rondo and a couple of seconds for him, because surely the asking price wouldn't be much more than that. Again, I'll mention the Celtics. I mean, maybe the Clippers would like to give up Williams and Kabengele and some seconds or something. I'm not really sure what the Thunder could want. Then Al Horford is a bit tricky because he's been pretty good this season and definitely is a center worth having on the roster, albeit not for his current price tag. So it's unlikely that he's traded, but his contract isn't fully guaranteed in the final year, so you have one more year after this one of full price Horford. Just some solid veterans any team could use. Then last up, we've got the Knicks guys. I will admit that maybe the Knicks don't want to mess anything up. When what they've got going, they certainly have a lot of good veteran players that some teams could probably want. Austin Rivers is a solid guard. Elfrid Payton is an okay point guard for somebody maybe. Then you've got Nerlens Noel, but with Mitchell Robinson being out, they might not want to move him. Then you've also got Taj Gibson, as well as apparently Kevin Knox, who they were rumored to be wanting to move a while ago. So just a few decent veteran guys that somebody might want, just like the Thunder. But that's been 5, but technically more trade targets for the upcoming trade deadline. It's only a few weeks away, guys. But if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. And y'all have a good one.